Welcome to Testing, Tracking, and Monitoring in Functional Health. In this presentation, we'll walk through how to combine daily biometrics with advanced functional labs to get a complete picture of health during perimenopause and beyond. I'm Amber Sullivan, a functional diagnostic nutrition practitioner. I've been where many of you are, exhausted, moody, gaining weight, and wondering why my once steady body suddenly felt out of control. My mission is to help high-performing women navigate perimenopause with clarity, resilience, and confidence without medication, extreme diets, or challenging workouts. Symptoms are important, but they're subjective. Testing and monitoring gives us objective data that helps confirm root causes, track progress, and personalize interventions. When a woman says she feels anxious, is it blood sugar swings, cortisol surges, or estrogen dips? By tracking, we move from guessing to knowing. We'll cover two main categories: wearable biometrics and devices that give continuous real-time insights, and functional lab testing to provide a deeper look at hormones, nutrients, gut health, and inflammation. Together, they create a full circle view. Wearables and devices. A continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, tracks blood sugar 24/7, showing patterns you'd never catch with a finger prick. In perimenopause, this is critical because glucose swings drive hot flashes, anxiety, mood swings, and weight gain. We look at fasting glucose stability, post-meal spikes, nighttime trends, and we use those patterns to fine-tune nutrition and stress strategies. Now, interpreting the CGM patterns. When reviewing CGM data, the key questions are: do meals cause a greater than 30 mg DL spike? Are there overnight drops triggering cortisol surges? Does exercise blunt or worsen spikes? By connecting CGM graphs with symptoms, you can see the link between food, stress, and perimenopause symptoms. That's powerful. Wearables like the Garmin VivoSmart or Vivo Active for stress and sleep track heart rate variability, resting heart rate, sleep cycles, and stress load. HRV, or heart rate variability, shows nervous system resilience. The stress score reflects sympathetic versus parasympathetic balance, and sleep staging helps assess recovery quality, not just hours slept. In perimenopause, this helps us monitor adrenal strain and nervous system regulation in real time. A client sees her Garmin flag red stress during work calls. Paired with her CGM, we see her blood sugar spiking at the same time. That feedback allows us to layer in stress down tools during the workday instead of waiting until symptoms spiral. Smart scales track weight, body fat percent, muscle mass, water percent, and sometimes bone mass. Combined with a tape measure, these metrics help monitor body composition changes rather than obsessing over the number on the scale. Why it matters: estrogen decline reduces lean muscle, raising fat percent. Tracking ensures interventions are working. Now, one thing I want to point out is that these smart scales may not be 100% accurate, but they still allow us to track changes, and we can make sure that those changes are moving in the right direction. Functional lab data. Blood work is the foundation. It's inexpensive, accessible, and gives broad insights into your CBC and CMP, which tells us about inflammation, liver and kidney function, electrolytes, and more, lipids and metabolic health, glucose, insulin, and HbA1c for blood sugar, and then thyroid panels, TSH, free T3, free T4, antibodies, and reverse T3. We look beyond normal ranges to functional ranges that show early imbalances. Medical ranges look at where about 90% of the population falls, but functional ranges are much smaller, tighter ranges where optimal health occurs. The Dutch test is the gold standard for mapping hormones and metabolites. It shows estrogen, progesterone, testosterone, and DHEA, cortisol curve across the day, phase 1 and 2 estrogen detox pathways, and more. This connects directly to symptoms like hot flashes, anxiety, fatigue, and PMS. It also shows how stress is impacting hormone balance. The HTMA, or hair tissue mineral analysis, tracks long-term mineral balance: sodium, potassium, magnesium, calcium, zinc, copper, and more. Minerals are the spark plugs of metabolism. When out of balance, energy, mood, and thyroid function suffer. HTMA is especially useful for women with fatigue, poor stress tolerance, and adrenal strain. The GI map test assesses beneficial bacteria like Lactobacillus, Bifidobacterium, Akkermansia, and Faecalibacterium, opportunist bacteria, parasites, and yeast, inflammation markers like calprotectin, zonulin, and SIGA, or secretory IgA, and digestion markers like elastase and steatocrit. Given the role of the estrobolome in estrogen metabolism, this test is critical in perimenopause. The organic acids, or OATS test, gives a snapshot of metabolic function. It evaluates mitochondrial energy pathways, neurotransmitter metabolites such as dopamine and serotonin precursors, B vitamin status, candida and yeast markers, and more. This test helps connect fatigue, mood swings, and gut dysfunction to nutrient deficiencies and metabolic blocks. Food sensitivities often worsen in perimenopause due to leaky gut, stress, and immune shifts. There are two types of food sensitivity testing that I use. The MRT, or the mediator release test, measures inflammatory responses to foods and chemicals. The IgG-IgA panels identify delayed or mucosal immune reactions. These tests help guide elimination and reintroduction, reducing bloating, migraines, joint pain, and fatigue, as well as weight gain. One lab never tells the whole story. For example, a client's Dutch test shows high cortisol, her GI map shows dysbiosis, her OAT shows low B vitamins. Together, that paints a clear picture. Stress plus poor gut clearance leads to low cofactors and hormone imbalance. Integration is where testing shines. Testing is not a one and done. The real value is in retesting or retracking to measure progress as needed. For example, the CGM data is stabilizing. That means less symptoms flare. The HRV score is rising, improving nervous system tone. And labs show improved digestion and nutrient status. That's how we measure if protocols are actually working. Now let's look at biometrics and labs. Testing is not one and done. The most powerful model is layering. The CGM and Garmin give real-time feedback on blood sugar, stress, and sleep. Labs give us the deeper insight into why those metrics are off. This creates a cycle of awareness, intervention, and confirmation. A 45-year-old client had anxiety, weight gain, and migraines. The CGM showed spikes after oatmeal and wine. The Garmin flagged low HRV and poor sleep. The Dutch revealed low progesterone and high evening cortisol, and the GI map found dysbiosis and low elastase. By addressing blood sugar, stress, and gut support, symptoms resolved within months. The data told the story. Clients often ask, do I need all of these tests? Not necessarily. We prioritize based on symptoms, budget, and clinical history. We start with blood work and wearables. These are the most low cost. We add the Dutch or GI map if hormones or gut are a priority. We layer in the OAT or HTMA if fatigue or nutrient imbalances persist. It's about building strategically, not overwhelming. The beauty of tracking is that you can see progress. Instead of, I feel a little better, we can show lower fasting glucose, higher HRV, improved estrogen detox markers. That objective feedback increases motivation and you wanting to stay on track. Every woman should have daily biometrics, so the CGM, a Garmin, and a smart scale. A core lab panel like blood work, and then specialty labs based on priorities such as Dutch, GI map, OAT, HTMA, and food sensitivity testing. This creates a layered, personalized monitoring system without overcomplicating. Using biometrics and labs gives you more actionable information. For example, migraines could be explained by seeing spikes on a CGM, a Dutch test showing cortisol spikes, and a GI map showing dysbiosis. This gives a root cause clarity and faster results. So let's go ahead and wrap up. Testing and tracking take the guesswork out of perimenopause care. Wearables show daily trends, labs reveal underlying pathways, and together they map symptoms to root causes and track progress over time. This is the difference between hoping for improvement and measuring it. Now remember, start simple with accessible tools. Layer in labs strategically. Use data to educate and empower yourself, not overwhelm. And retest and retrack to confirm progress as needed. That's how you build a clear, measurable healing journey. Personalized monitoring creates clarity. It gives you data so you can take action and get real results. If you're ready to integrate tracking and labs into your perimenopause or functional health journey, I can guide you through which tests make sense, how to interpret them, and how to use them for real results. Data becomes powerful when it's applied to action. If you're ready for structured support, my Perimenopause Reset and Total Transformation programs provide a roadmap with labs, biometrics, and protocols. Every woman deserves to feel calm, clear, and confident again, even in this transition.